You would just see flashes of light. The media would refer to it as meteors crashing to the earth. And so I started looking at that, noticed that for about 2 years until I stumbled on the Bible codes that was literally just UFOs crashing out of the sky.
How many UFOs do you think have crashed in the last 10 years?
Well, I have no idea. I've been doing Oregon for 4 years now, and I've probably seen anywhere between 8 and 10 or maybe even 12 in my own area. When I started hearing about it in Tampa, Florida, and out in Washington, these meteors describing exactly what I've seen in my own area, has started becoming more and more noticeable. And the Lord's told me we're just seeing the start of it. It's going to start start coming down a lot more.
So you've seen 8 to 10 crashed UFOs in your own area.
Right.
Do you take pictures of them?
No. No. For a while, last year even, just being under constant targeting of the government, I was even homeless for a while, living at a campground. There was a big commotion there. Everybody hearing a large boom, a blue light flashing was on the media all over the state. And, I've just been in circumstances where I've become so accustomed to being targeted by so many different factions. I don't have a camera, didn't even have a camera at the time, didn't own one. I own one now. I was out in Dulce Base, New Mexico, Los Alamos, New Mexico, and took pictures of those areas out there. But, I'm one of these people, you can believe it or not, I'm going to do what the Lord leads me to do, to set up Satan's welcome party on earth. And if others want to join me, they can. If they don't, that's fine.
I've got to tell you, you're making some very wild claims, and you don't have any evidence to substantiate anything.
Well, you know what? The Lord's people know who I am. They know, they can tell by their own spirits whether I speak the truth or not. I'm not here for the majority of the world. The Lord's army is 144,000.
That's it?
2 armies of 144,000 that are actually going to do work on the earth for him. The others are going to be going through martial law, stuck in churchdom, stuck in religion, not really getting to know who he is because they believe what religion tells them. I was a Baptist for 30 years. I was like, something's wrong here. Well, you have to twist doctrines to try to prove doctrines. Well, so I just walked away from it all and started asking him to teach the truth in all things to me.
How can you be a Baptist if you're the granddaughter of Israel's ancient King David? Wouldn't you be Jewish?
Well, I'm an Israeli. I'm an Israelite. People get a different view on what Jews were. David had red hair, so that doesn't make him a dark-skinned Arabian-looking Jew. The Jews in Israel today are fake Jews. They're Khazars.
No, that's not a nice thing to say.
Well, it's the truth, Rob.
Where do you get your information? Have you, you told me that you went to journalism to become a journalist or a broadcaster, and you know that you've got to get facts. You've got to do your research. And where's your research on all this?
Well, you can do my website. Go online, put in Khazars. Khazars. Not just on my website, it's all over the internet. This is radio. We're sitting here dealing in audio, not written text facts.
No, but we're dealing in facts. We're not dealing in supposition.
Read Your Heart's Content, serpentseedline.com. I got a whole website on fake Jews.
Well, you're making a lot of claims, and like I said, you said there were 8 to 10 crashed UFOs, and you don't have any proof of that. You're saying
that... Well, do you believe Abraham Lincoln existed? Do you see him with your own eyes? You take history books for value. And how much do we know of our history is correct?
Oh, I know a lot of history is incorrect. However...
You either believe it or you don't. And you can research it on your own, or you can take it at face value of what you're hearing. I like to research things. I pray about things. I've been studying things for years. I was at a time in my life 20 years ago when I was reading 5 books a week just trying to learn what's going on.
Tell me, why do you hate the government?
I don't hate government. I hate corruption.
So are you saying the government's corrupt?
It's totally corrupt.
So you hate the government?
The corruption in the government, the people running the government, the New World Order agenda. That's not, an agenda is not looking out for people. When you have people that swear oaths to secret societies, their loyalty is to that secret society, not the Constitution of a country they're supposed to be protecting.
How do you know these secret societies exist?
Well, they've been around for thousands of years. It's not something new that's happened, just in America. They're in every country. Ever since Satan caused the fall of man in the Garden of Eden, it's been a conspiracy to destroy mankind. Now you have Satan's seed and the Lord's seed here on earth. And Satan's seed hides within secret societies.
What do you talk about on your church broadcast, and how often is it?
Oh, it's not a church broadcast. I broadcast every Monday night, 10 o'clock. And what I do is...
Batman, I'm having a hard time hearing the guest. Can you please fix that? I'm sorry, we're having difficulties with our audio. Sherry, can you repeat your answer?
Yes. I broadcast every Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time.
Mm-hmm.
And I talk about Bible and daily events, coming events, whatever the Lord has me speak on.
Now, do you speak to the Lord?
Do I speak of what?
Do you speak to the Lord?
Oh, every day.
What does he feel about the situation of the planet? And if these aliens are bad, and if there are going to be negative things happening on this earth, why doesn't he just step in and stop it?
Well, mankind has free will. Mankind has free choice. These things have been prophesied about.
That seems to be a biblical out. Whenever you talk to somebody about why there's never the intervention to either cure the sick, feed the hungry, stop wars, it's always this little clause, escape clause. That's because man has his own free will. Nobody can ever give me a direct answer on why, if this supreme deity is really there, why he doesn't correct the mess that he made.
Well, he is, but he gives mankind his own time. And if you have the answer, let's hear it.
It's very simple. I'm a dad. And if I would never see any of my children go sick, go hungry, get into problems. I don't even let strangers that I run into go hungry, be sick, go homeless.
But if
and
you
yet,
want to test your own creation,
and yet, hold on here. Hey, this is my show, not your internet show.
Okay.
We're talking about a deity who is supposed to be so magnificent, so all-inspiring, so all-encompassing. And if we are made in his image, then he should come and correct the problems that he created. Because maybe a free will was the worst mistake he ever made.
Well, it wasn't his intention, if I can butt in, for it to be this way. This wasn't the whole reason he created Adam and Eve for himself. It was Eve and Adam and Eve that sinned at the garden that caused creation to go a totally different direction than the original purpose he created it for.
Why is it a sin to have knowledge?
It's not a sin to have knowledge.
Well, what was the sin that Adam and Eve did?
Well, their sin was about, and if I've got it detailed at serpentseedline.com about her sexual union with Lucifer. It had nothing to do with an apple in the Garden of Eden.
That's your interpretation.
Well, yes. That's if you read the terminology being used in Genesis, that is the interpretation. Break down the words in a Bible lexicon.
Now, where does it say in the Bible that Eve had sex with Lucifer?
If you look in the terminology being used, it's all mapped out on the website. Enoch talks about it, one of the greatest prophets in biblical history, never died, walked with God. A man who walked with God was taken to heaven in a chariot.
Uh-huh.
The church has suppressed it all these years. Who controls the seminaries? Satanists, Luciferians. There's been a lot of lost knowledge. That's why people stand up, and when they do, they're ridiculed and mocked, just like I constantly am on radio interviews.
Well, it's because you make no sense.
Just because something's true doesn't mean, sometimes it takes a while to assimilate the knowledge, to get used to hearing.
It's true.
It's been lied to your entire life.
It's true to you because you believe it. But that doesn't, in your mind, it's true.
In my mind, it's because I pray and ask daily for the Lord to reveal the truth in all things to me, because I don't want to hold on to errors. I don't want to hold on to false beliefs and doctrines.
But there are millions of people around the world who also pray daily.
And they can ask the truth in all things. It's a very specific prayer, Rob, to ask the Lord to reveal the truth in all things to you, because when you do that, you allow Him to get rid of all the errors you're holding on to.
How come these other people who pray to the Lord don't have the same outlook that you have?
Well, that's just why I teach on my show every single week. I hammer it, every week to pray for the truth in all things.